Hi everyone, my name is Joshua Kohler, a second year engineering student, and today I'm here to give you an understanding on how to manage stakeholder expectations. First of all, what is a stakeholder? Basically, a stakeholder is an individual or a group who have anything to do with the project, from decisions at the start to the final product at the end, which are typically suppliers, customers, employees, and investors. However, while working on a project, trying to manage the stakeholder expectations can be a problem on its own. That's why I'm here today to give you an understanding on how to manage your stakeholder expectations. Here are 7 main steps that can be followed to manage the expectations that the stakeholders withhold. Identify who the stakeholders are. Identify stakeholder communication methods. Keep stakeholders engaged. Accurately map the expectations. Classify level of communication. Engage the stakeholders. And last, the manner the project is accomplished. So first of all, identify who the stakeholders are. This may seem obvious, but in large-scale projects, it is vital to understand who are your stakeholders and who aren't. Your stakeholders are individuals or organizations that are involved within the projects. Usually they are representatives from the organizations that you are dealing with. Your typical stakeholders are suppliers, customers, employees, and investors. However, in modern times, additional stakeholders can be community, trade associations, and the government. After discovering who your stakeholders are, you need to discover who aren't. Although I said before, it is anyone who is involved in the project. There can be different people in an organization, other client members, and other team members who can be giving you feedback and requesting some changes. They may belong to organizations that are involved, but are not directly your stakeholder. They would need to go through their organization representative, which is your stakeholder. The second step is to identify your stakeholder's preferred method of communication, whether it is via email, phone call, Skype calls, or face-to-face. You need to identify what is their preferred method. Otherwise, you could be using the wrong method and your message may not even be reaching the stakeholder. This is a very important step while keeping in contact with your stakeholder, so you are not wasting their time or yours whilst trying to contact them through something they won't even check up on. The third step is to keep the stakeholder engaged throughout the entire process. To keep the stakeholder engaged, you need to keep focus on asking them questions, but to the right people. You don't want to be asking questions to stakeholders that aren't involved in that area of the project. But by asking questions, you are keeping them involved and engaged throughout the project. This stage is important and to keep stakeholders involved with your project, as large-scale stakeholders can be involved in many projects at once. It can be hard to keep track of what is going on in your project. So by combining step 2 and 3 together closely, by communicating correctly and asking frequent questions is a good step for managing their expectations. The fourth step is to accurately map the expectations for each of your stakeholders. Typically, you will have more than one stakeholder involved in your project, and each stakeholder may measure the success of the project differently. Some may consider the project to be a success by meeting the final deadline. Some may consider the functionality of the final project, or some may even consider a cost-effective approach. All of the stakeholders are going to have different measures of success, so to try to come to a mutual understanding. A meeting of such is going to have to be used with yourself and the stakeholders to come to a satisfying agreement. The fifth step is to classify the level of communication for each stakeholder. Just like in the fourth step, every stakeholder is going to be different. So you need to work out which stakeholders want all the details with constant phone calls and updates of what is going on all the time. Then you'll need to work out who only wants the brief details and the occasional updates. This is important so you're constantly annoying your stakeholder with too much information, or whether you're starting to irritate your stakeholder by not giving them enough information. The sixth step is to engage the stakeholder in decisions on what you're doing. This will give the stakeholder a sense of importance within the project, like they have to be involved in the process. Although you may have decided on the best idea, give them decisions where they feel like they are involved. And last of all, the seventh step. This is the manner in which the project has been accomplished. The stakeholders will remember the mood of the entire process. They will use that mood to measure the success of the project. You might have the successful final product at the end, but the stakeholders will still measure the success on the mood of the process. So if you follow my 7 steps accordingly, I strongly believe that managing the stakeholder expectations will be no problem at all. At the end of the day, they are the most important people whilst working on a project, and managing their expectations is vital for a successful project. Thank you.